He fell from his horse exhausted and wounded, surrounded by Apache warriors who treated him as an enemy until the young healer approached, looked into his eyes and stepped back, trembling, as if she had recognized something no one else could see. When she touched the necklace he had been hiding, the elders froze. And in that moment, silence swept over the entire village, as if everyone feared discovering who he really was. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and comment where in the world you're watching from, because now I'm going to tell you everything. The horse stumbled and the man fell hard onto the red earth. "Look, a rider has fallen." The voice was low and spoke in a language he was not supposed to understand. Ethan Reed opened his eyes to the blinding sun and 3 silhouettes standing over him. The heat of the Arizona desert was a heavy blanket. "Is he dead?" a younger voice asked. A boot nudged his ribs. Pain shot through his side. He had cracked something in the fall. He let out a low groan. "Not dead," said the first man, an older warrior with a face of stern leather. "But he will wish he was. Look at his clothes. He is not a lost traveler. He is a hunter." Ethan stayed still, his eyes half closed. He let them see his empty canteen, his dusty pants, the way he favored his injured side. He played his part perfectly. A man who had wandered too far and met with an accident. The older man knelt, his dark eyes searching Ethan's face. "What is your name? What are you doing in these mountains?" Ethan met his gaze, letting his own blue eyes look cloudy with pain. He said nothing. Speaking felt dangerous. A single word might break the careful walls in his mind. "He does not speak, or he will not," the older man said. He reached out a calloused hand and pulled open Ethan's jacket. His fingers were quick and sure. They did not find the gun Ethan had buried under a rock 2 miles back, but they paused over the small, hard lump sewn into the lining near his collar. The radio. The old man's eyes narrowed. He did not remove it. He let the fabric fall back. "Tie his hands," he ordered the 2 younger warriors. "We take him to Malachi. Let the elder decide what he is." Strong hands rolled Ethan onto his stomach. A rough leather cord bit into his wrists. The pain in his side screamed, but Ethan closed his eyes and swallowed the sound. This was the plan. Let them find him. Let them take him in. He was a hunter walking into the wolf's den because the colonel had ordered it. They pulled him to his feet. The world swam for a moment. "Can you walk, Hunter?" the older warrior asked, his voice flat. Ethan nodded, a short, sharp motion. "Good. It is a long way, and you do not want us to carry you." They began to walk, leaving his horse behind. Ethan moved carefully, letting every step show his pain. But his mind was clear and cold. He noted the path they took. They moved away from the main trail into a maze of dry canyons and towering red rocks. He saw the way the light hit a certain spire of rock. He heard the cry of a hawk from a specific direction. He stored it all. His mission was simple: infiltrate the hidden Apache clan the colonel spoke of. Find their village, mark its location. Then the colonel's men would come. The land would be cleared. The colonel had said the people there were dangerous, a threat to the country. Ethan did not ask questions. The colonel was the only father he knew. They walked for hours. The sun began to fall in the sky. The shadows of the Superstition Mountains grew long and deep. Just as the light started to turn the color of old gold, they came to a wall of rock that looked solid. The older warrior walked right up to it, and with a grunt, pushed aside a large sheet of canvas painted to look like stone. Behind it was a narrow crack, just wide enough for a man to pass through. "In," the warrior said, pushing Ethan forward. Ethan stumbled through the dark, cool crack. It twisted and turned. Then suddenly, it opened up. The hidden valley lay before him. Small, round houses made of earth and wood sat nestled among trees. He saw a clear stream. He saw people stopping their work to stare. He saw children hiding behind their mothers' legs. The air smelled of wood smoke and cooked corn. A feeling, sharp and strange, twisted in his stomach. It felt like a memory, but that was impossible. The colonel said his memories of a family, of a home, were just dreams. Lies his mind made up because the truth of the fire that killed his real family was too terrible. The colonel had saved him. The colonel had given him purpose. An old man stood waiting in the center of the village. He was tall, with hair the color of iron and eyes that held no warmth. This was Malachi. "What have you brought us, Thomas?" Malachi's voice was like stone grinding against stone. "A hunter, elder," said the older warrior, Thomas. He fell from his horse. He carries something hidden, a box of some kind near his neck. He does not speak. Malachi stepped close to Ethan. He studied him as if he were a strange insect. He looked at his short brown hair, his blue eyes, his military-style boots. "You are a long way from your army, Blue Eyes," Malachi said. "What do you hunt in our mountains?" Ethan kept his face empty. He was a stone. He was a weapon waiting to be used. Malachi saw the lack of fear. He saw the calculation. "Put him in the empty hut by the stream. Post 2 guards. No one talks to him. I will decide what to do with this snake at the council tonight." As the warriors led him away, Ethan took one last look around the village. He saw the high cliff to the north, perfect for a signal. He saw the worried faces of the people. He felt the leather cord around his neck, the one with the carved bear claw he had worn for as long as he could remember, a gift from the colonel. He let them push him into the dark, cool hut. The door closed, leaving him alone with the smell of dry earth and his own silent mission. Outside, he could hear the soft sounds of a life he was sent to erase. And deep inside, in a place he refused to name, something ancient and forgotten began to ache. The sound of the door closing was the only thing Ethan heard for a long time. He sat in the dust of the hut, his back against the wall. The pain in his side was a steady, hot pulse. He focused on it. Pain was data. It told him about the damage. It was a fact, not a feeling. Outside, the life of the village continued in muted sounds. A woman's voice called a child. The crackle of a fire. These were not his concern. The door opened again. The old leader, Malachi, stood there with a young woman. She looked at Ethan, then quickly looked away. "Kaya," Malachi said, his voice leaving no room for discussion. "You will see to his wound. Clean it. Stop the infection. Nothing more." The young woman, Kaya, clutched a small basket of herbs and cloth. "Elder, My duty is to our people, not to a prisoner." "Your duty is what I say it is," Malachi said. "A dead prisoner tells us nothing. A live one can answer questions. Do not speak to him. Do not look at him with kindness. He is a snake. Just stop the bleeding." Malachi left, closing the door. The young woman stood still for a moment. Ethan watched her. She was small, with long dark hair. Her hands holding the basket were clean but strong. A healer's hands. She did not look at him as she knelt in the dirt a few feet away. She opened her basket and took out a bowl and a water pouch. "I need to see the injury," she said, her voice soft but firm. She still did not meet his eyes. Ethan remained motionless. He had a choice. Let her treat him and gain a small amount of trust, or refuse and seem more dangerous. The mission required access. He slowly shifted, turning his body so his injured side was toward her. He pulled his shirt up. Kaya moved closer. She poured water into the bowl, wet a cloth, and began to clean the dark bruise and broken skin on his ribs. Her touch was quick and efficient, but not rough. "You fell from a horse," she said, stating a fact. Ethan said nothing. He kept his eyes on the wall of the hut. "This will hurt," she said. She took a paste of green herbs from her basket and applied it to the wound. It was cold, then it burned. Ethan did not flinch. He showed no reaction at all. Her movement slowed. She was studying him, not just the wound, but him. He could feel her gaze on his face. He kept his own eyes forward, empty. "Why are you here?" she whispered, more to herself than to him. Then she did it. She looked directly into his eyes. Her own eyes were a warm brown, full of a life and worry he did not understand. For a second he held her gaze, cold and blue and empty. Kaya gasped. She jerked back, dropping the cloth into the dust. Her hand flew to her mouth. She scrambled away from him, her eyes wide with a sudden, deep fear. Ethan frowned. It was a small crack in his calm. What had she seen? Kaya was breathing fast, staring at him as if he had turned into a ghost. She was not looking at his eyes anymore. She was looking at his neck, at the leather cord that had slipped out from under his shirt during her ministrations. Without thinking, acting on a pure and terrified instinct, she lunged forward. Her fingers closed around the cord and pulled. The carved bear claw slid out into the open air. Kaya made a sound. It was not a word. It was a choked cry of pain and shock. She held the small claw in her trembling hand. She looked from it to Ethan's face, then back to the claw. Then she turned and ran to the door, throwing it open. "Malachi!" she screamed. Her voice shattered the quiet afternoon. "Elders! Everyone, come now! You must see!" Ethan sat up straight, the pain forgotten. This was not in the plan. This was an unknown. He watched as people came running. Malachi was first, his face dark with anger. "What is this foolishness?" he demanded. Kaya could not speak. She simply held out her shaking hand, the bear claw necklace dangling from her fingers. The effect was instant. Malachi's angry words died in his throat. His stern face went pale. An older woman near the front let out a loud wail. A man dropped the wood he was carrying. Within seconds, the entire village was gathered in a silent, tight circle around the hut door. No one spoke. No one moved. They all stared at the small piece of carved bone. Malachi took a slow, heavy step forward. He took the necklace from Kaya's hand. He held it up to the light. His old fingers traced the shape, the familiar grooves, the tiny chip on the lower edge. His eyes, full of a storm of memory, rose to meet Ethan's. "Where did you get this?" Malachi's voice was a low rumble, but it shook. Ethan stared back. He did not understand the question. "It is mine!" A cry rose from the crowd. The wailing woman pushed forward. "It is his! He says it is his!" she sobbed. Malachi's gaze was a hammer. This necklace belonged to a child of this clan, a boy named Little Hawk. He was stolen from us 12 years ago. He was taken by men with guns during a bad attack. He stepped closer, holding the claw like a knife. "How did you get it?" Ethan's mind was a blank wall. Little Hawk. The name meant nothing. The colonel said the necklace was a good luck charm from Ethan's dead family, a thing to remember them by. It was a lie to cover the truth. But this was a different truth. "I've always had it," Ethan said, his monotone voice sounding strange in the heavy silence. Kaya found her voice. It was thin and broken. "Look at his eyes, Malachi. Look at his face. Before I saw the necklace, I saw him. I saw the look he had. It is the same look, the same one Little Hawk had the morning he was taken, scared, but trying to be brave." The entire village seemed to lean in. Dozens of eyes searched Ethan's face, looking past the dirt and the cold blue eyes, searching for the little boy they had buried in their hearts long ago. Ethan felt a sharp, sudden pain behind his own eyes. It was not from the fall. It was a door in his mind, rattling against a lock he did not know was there. He saw a flash of red rock. He heard a woman's voice, singing. The world in the hut tilted. He looked at the ring of faces, full of fear and a terrible, impossible hope. He looked at the bear claw in Malachi's hand. The colonel's voice in his head was suddenly very quiet. For the first time, Ethan Reed had no idea what to do. The silence around the hut was so deep that Ethan could hear the crackle of the central fire 20 paces away. The pain behind his eyes pulsed, a sharp counterpoint to the ache in his side. He kept his head down, his hands pressed against the dirt floor. The stares of the people felt like physical weights. Malachi was the first to move. He closed his fingers tightly around the bear claw necklace. His face had hardened again, the moment of shock replaced by a deeper, more familiar anger. "Everyone, go back to your homes, now," he commanded, his gravelly voice cutting through the quiet. The people did not move. They looked from Malachi to Ethan and back again. "Elder," said the woman who had wailed. Her name was Sarah. "The necklace. It is Little Hawk's. This man has it. What does it mean?" "It means our enemy is clever," Malachi roared, turning on the group. The force of his voice made several people step back. "It means they know our stories. They know our losses. They think they can use our own hearts against us." He held the necklace high. "This is a trick, a cruel, evil trick. They sent this hunter here with a piece of our past to make us lower our guard, to make us feel hope so we do not see the knife he holds to our throats." Kaya stepped forward. Her face was pale, but her eyes were clear. "How can you be so sure? You saw his face. He did not understand why we were upset. He was confused." "Of course he was confused," Malachi shot back. "His acting is good. He's been trained. Look at his eyes, Kaya. You see a lost boy? I see a soldier. I see a man who has killed. A man named Thomas." The warrior who had found Ethan spoke up. "Malachi is right. I found him. He did not fight. He let us take him. He was waiting for us. A lost traveler fights. A hunter lays a trap. Murmurs of agreement rippled through some of the clan. Heads nodded. Fear was a stronger voice than hope, but others looked uncertain. An older man, Joel, put a hand on Sarah's shoulder. "My sister has cried for 12 years. We all have. If there is a chance, even a small one." "There is no chance!" Malachi slammed his fist against his own chest. "Hope is a poison when a wolf is at the door. This man is not a lost child. He is the wolf's teeth. He will destroy us from the inside if we let him." Kaya moved between Malachi and the hut door. "Then let us find out the truth. Let me tend to him. Let me talk to him. If he is a hunter, he will slip. He will reveal his plan. If he is someone else, we will know." "You are a healer, not a warrior," Malachi said, his tone dismissive. "You see wounds to mend. I see a threat to remove." "And if you remove him," Kaya said, her voice trembling but strong, "you may be killing the last piece of your brother's son." The words hung in the air. Malachi flinched as if struck. The crowd went utterly still. Malachi had been a close friend to Little Hawk's father. Malachi's eyes burned into Kaya's. For a long moment, he said nothing. The struggle on his face was plain. The duty of the guardian warred with a ghost from his past. Finally, he let out a long, tired breath. "You have 2 days," he said. The words gritted out like stones. "You may heal his body. You may ask your questions. But he stays in this hut. 2 guards at all times. No one else speaks to him." He turned his fierce gaze on Ethan. "And if he makes one wrong move, if he speaks one wrong word, he dies. Not by council vote, by my hand. Do you understand?" Kaya nodded quickly. "Yes, Elder." Malachi looked at the crowd. "The rest of you will not speak of this as hope. You will speak of it as a threat we are watching. Our lives depend on our watchfulness, not on old stories. Now go." This time, the people listened. They drifted away in small groups, their voices low and worried. The clan was split. You could see it in their hunched shoulders, in the way some glanced back with curiosity and others with fear. Malachi shoved the bear claw necklace into Kaya's hand. "You want the truth? Start with this." He strode away, leaving Kaya alone by the hut door with the 2 stern-faced guards. Inside, Ethan slowly lifted his head. He had heard every word. Asterisk, a trick, a wolf's teeth, a trap. The colonel's words echoed them perfectly. These people were dangerous, just as he had been told. Their leader, Malachi, was smart. He saw the mission. But the other words, asterisk, Little Hawk, brother's son, old stories. They swirled in the empty places in his mind. They fit into the cracks of his dreams. Kaya stepped back into the hut. She did not look at him. She placed a bowl of water and some strips of cloth on the ground near him. Then she held out her hand. The bear claw lay in her palm. "This was made by my mother," she said softly, not looking at him. "For Little Hawk's 5th summer. I was there. I watched her carve it. He never took it off." Ethan stared at the carving. A memory, sharp and sudden. The feel of a woman's hands tying a cord behind his neck. Her fingers were warm. He blinked, and it was gone. "I do not know that name," Ethan said, his voice flat. Kaya finally looked at him. Her brown eyes searched his face, not with anger but with a desperate curiosity. "Then who do you know? Who are you?" "Ethan Reed." The name was automatic. It was the only answer he had. Kaya knelt down, placing the necklace on the ground between them, a tiny carved barrier. "For 2 days, Ethan Reed," she said. "We will see." Kaya came back at dawn. She brought a wooden bowl of something that smelled of corn and herbs. She placed it on the ground near Ethan, then stepped back to the doorway, watching him. Ethan did not move. His training said to not eat food from an unknown source, but his body was weak. The pain in his side was a dull throb. Hunger was a sharper pain in his stomach. He looked at the bowl, then at Kaya. "It is just food," she said quietly. "It will not hurt you." After another minute, he reached for the bowl. He ate quickly without tasting it. Food was fuel. When he was done, he placed the bowl back on the ground. Kaya came forward and picked it up. "Your wound is less red. The paste is working." Ethan said nothing. He looked past her, through the open door, studying the layout of the village in the morning light. He noted the guards. He noted the high rock to the north. He filed it all away. "You do not talk much, Ethan Reed," Kaya said. "Nothing to say. he replied. Kaya sat down on the ground, keeping a safe distance. She began to work on another paste with herbs from her basket. As she worked, she hummed. It was a simple tune, 3 rising notes and 3 falling notes. Ethan's head snapped up. The sound was like a key scraping inside a locked door in his mind. He knew that song. He did not know how he knew it, but he did. A flash of memory, darkness, and that same hum close to his ear. A feeling of safety. He shut his eyes tight. Asterisk faulty data. Asterisk, he thought. Asterisk a dream, not real. You are in pain, Kaya said, stopping her hum. She had seen him wince. It is nothing, Ethan said. Not your side. Something else. She watched his face carefully. The man who brought you in, Thomas. He said you did not speak. But you understand our words, don't you? Ethan kept his eyes closed. I understand English. I did not speak English just now, Kaya said softly. I spoke in the language of my people. I said, the pain is in his head. And you reacted. Ethan's eyes opened. He felt a cold trickle of fear. She was right. He had understood her. The words had simply made sense, as if they were his own. The colonel said he was given language training. But this felt different. This felt like remembering, not learning. I do not know what you mean, he said, but his voice lacked its usual flat certainty. Kaya leaned forward a little. She spoke slowly, in her own language. Tlo. She pointed to the green herbs in her hand. Ethan's mouth moved before he could stop it. Grass. The English word came out, but he had known what she meant. Kaya's breath caught. She pointed to the water pouch. 2. Water, Ethan whispered. Tears welled in Kaya's eyes. She pointed at him, her finger trembling. Lee. Ethan stared at her. The word sat on his tongue, familiar and terrifying. It meant, man, he breathed. Then a violent stabbing pain exploded behind his eyes. He groaned and pressed the heels of his hands against his temples. Stop, he gritted out. Stop talking. Your mind knows the words, Kaya said, her voice full of a desperate hope. Your body knows this place. Why do you fight it? The colonel, Ethan choked out, the pain making his vision blur. Who is the colonel? Kaya asked. My father. The words were automatic, a truth he had lived with for 12 years. He saved me, he said. He said my family died in a fire. He said my dreams of the desert were just dreams, lies. Kaya was silent for a long time. The only sound was Ethan's ragged breathing as the headache slowly faded. Ethan, she said, using his chosen name carefully. Look around. Is this a dream? He lowered his hands. He looked at the sunlit dust motes in the doorway. He felt the rough earth under him. He smelled the smoke and the herbs. It was more solid, more real than any memory he had of the colonel's cold gray building. What do you want from me? He asked, his voice tired. The truth, Kaya said. Only that. She stood up to leave. The man you call Colonel, what did he save you from? He saved me from the fire, Ethan repeated, the old lesson echoing. Kaya paused at the door. Her face was sad. There has been no fire here, Ethan Reed. Not for many, many years. The only thing that burned here was our homes when the raiders came. The men with guns. The men who took a little boy. She left, closing the door gently behind her. Ethan was alone again, but nothing felt the same. The walls of the hut felt closer. The words she had spoken echoed. Tlo to Lee. He looked down at his hands. Without thinking, he let his finger drag through the thin layer of dust on the floor. He traced a pattern, a zigzag, then a series of connected diamonds. It was a soothing, familiar motion. He did not know where he learned it. Outside, Kaya stood with her back to the hut door, listening to the silence within. She looked down at the dust by her feet. There, she could see the clear marks where the guards had paced back and forth, and just inside, she could see the tip of a pattern being drawn in the dirt. A pattern her mother used to weave into baskets. A pattern she had not seen in 12 years. She closed her eyes and hugged her basket to her chest, feeling a wave of fear and hope so strong it made her dizzy. The pattern in the dust held Ethan's gaze. Zigzag, diamonds. His finger had moved on its own. He stared at it now as if it were a coded message from a stranger. A part of his mind, the cold, clear part trained by the colonel, told him to scuff it out, destroy the evidence. But he couldn't make his hand move. The headache was gone, but a deeper unease had taken its place. Kaya's words swirled with the colonel's. Asterisk, no fire, men with guns, a little boy. The two stories did not fit together. Both could not be true. A faint, sharp sound cut through his thoughts. Asterisk crackle. Asterisk Ethan froze. It was a tiny, electronic hiss. It came from the hidden pocket in his collar. The radio. It had been silent since his capture. Now, it was active. The colonel was calling. Ethan's training took over. His eyes flicked to the door. He could see the shadows of the two guards outside standing still. He heard no footsteps from the village. It was the quiet time after the midday meal. Slowly, carefully, he moved to the far corner of the hut, the one most shadowed from the door. He turned his back to the entrance. With movements so small they were almost invisible, he peeled back the stitched lining of his collar. His fingers found the small, smooth plastic box and the thin wire of the earpiece. He fitted it into his ear. The crackle came again, then a voice. It was a voice he knew better than his own. It was calm, clear, and left no room for questions. Asset, report. Ethan's mouth was dry. He cupped his hand over his mouth and spoke in the barest whisper. Asset here. Status. The colonel's voice held no warmth. It was a request for data. I am inside the settlement. The location is confirmed. Ethan's words were automatic, spoken 1,000 times in training exercises. Population estimate? Approximately 60. Men, women, children. The words asterisk women asterisk and asterisk children asterisk felt heavy on his tongue as he said them. They were just factors in a mission report, weren't they? Good. The colonel's satisfaction was a cold thing. The window is now open. The weather is clear. Do you have visual on the high point? Ethan's eyes lifted. Through a small gap in the hut's wall, he could see the tall, flat-topped rock north of the village. The signal point. I have visual, Ethan whispered. The mission is now, the colonel said, his tone shifting to direct orders. You will activate the beacon at dawn. Place it on the high point. The light will flash for 1 hour. Then, you will extract yourself to the eastern canyon. Do you understand the instructions? Ethan's heart began to beat a hard, steady rhythm against his ribs. I understand. Activate beacon at dawn. Place on high point. Extract east. The future of the project depends on this, Ethan. The colonel used his name. It was a rare thing, meant to underscore importance. These people are obstructing vital progress. They are a threat to national security. You are removing that threat. You are serving your country. You are making me proud. Asterisk. You are making me proud. The words had always been Ethan's compass. Now they felt like a hook in his chest. Yes, sir, Ethan whispered, the response ingrained. Dawn, asset, no delays. The radio went silent with a final soft crackle. Ethan remained perfectly still in the shadows. He carefully stowed the earpiece and smoothed his collar back into place. The action was routine, but inside, nothing was routine. He looked from the gap in the wall toward the high rock. Then he turned his head and looked toward the door, toward the sounds of the village. A child laughed somewhere. He saw Kaya in his mind's eye, her warm, worried face, her hand holding out the bear claw. Asterisk. These people are obstructing vital progress. He saw old Malachi's stern, suspicious eyes. Asterisk. They are a threat. He saw the faces of the clan full of fear and a dawning impossible hope when they saw the necklace. Asterisk. You are removing that threat. Ethan's stomach twisted. A sudden hot nausea rose in his throat. He doubled over, pressing his forehead into the cool earth of the hut wall. He was supposed to place a light that would bring soldiers who would erase this village, these sounds, these faces. The colonel's voice was clean and certain in his memory. The colonel had given him a name, a purpose, a life. But Kaya's voice asked a different question. Asterisk. What did he save you from? Ethan stayed there, curled against the wall as the afternoon light began to soften into evening. The mission clock was ticking. Dawn was coming, and he had to choose which voice to obey. The hut was dark when the door opened again. Ethan did not move from the corner. He expected the guards with his evening food. but it was Kaya. She carried a bowl in one hand and something folded under her arm. She placed the bowl near him. "You did not eat at midday," she said. Her voice was quiet. Ethan said nothing. He watched her. Kaya unfolded the object she carried. It was a blanket, old and worn, woven in deep red and black. The pattern was complex, zigzags that looked like mountain peaks, diamonds linked together in a long line. "The nights are cold here," she said. She held the blanket out to him. Ethan's eyes were fixed on the pattern. His breath caught in his chest. It was the same pattern his finger had drawn in the dust, the zigzag, the connected diamonds. He knew this blanket. He knew it. Slowly, he reached out and took it from her. The wool was soft with age. He brought it closer, his fingers tracing the raised threads of the design. "Where did you get this?" he asked. His voice was a rough whisper. "It was my mother's," Kaya said. She knelt down, watching his face carefully. "She wove it. She made one for every family in the clan. This one," she paused. "This one was for her sister's family, for my aunt, Little Hawk's mother." The words landed in the silent hut. Little Hawk's mother. Ethan's fingers stopped moving. He stared at the pattern. A pressure began to build behind his eyes. "It is just a pattern," he said, but the words felt weak. "It is our story," Kaya said gently. "The mountains, the path of our people. My mother's hands wove it. My aunt's hands wrapped her son in it every night." As she spoke, Ethan's own hands moved. He laid the blanket flat on the dirt floor. His index finger reached out. Almost in a trance, he began to trace the pattern. Over the zigzag, around the diamonds. His movements were sure, practiced. He did not have to look at his hand. Kaya made a small, choked sound. Ethan looked up. Tears were streaming silently down her face. "You know it," she whispered. "You know the pattern. You are tracing it the right way, the way you start at the corner. No one taught you that. You just know." The pressure in Ethan's head exploded into a blinding pain. He cried out, grabbing his temples. The hut dissolved around him. Flash. A memory. A room gray and cold. A man in a uniform, the colonel, stands over a small boy. The boy is holding a rough gray blanket. "Forget the colors, Ethan," the colonel says. "They are not important. This is your blanket now. The other one is gone. It burned." Flash. Another memory. Warmth, firelight. A woman with kind eyes and long dark hair is singing. She is weaving. Her fingers fly. A little girl, Kaya, sits next to a young boy poking his arm. They are both wrapped in a red and black blanket. The woman smiles at them. "My little hawk, be still," she says to the boy. "You are ruining my line." "No!" Ethan shouted. The word tore from his throat. He slammed his fists against the sides of his own head. "Stop! It is not real." "What is not real?" Kaya asked, her voice urgent. "What do you see?" "The room. The gray room," Ethan gasped, his eyes squeezed shut. "The colonel. He gave me a blanket. He said my old one burned. He said everything burned." "And the other?" Kaya pressed. "What else do you see?" Ethan trembled. The warm memory pulled at him, sweet and terrible. A fire, but a good fire. A woman. She is singing. She is weaving. She calls me. He could not say the name. Kaya reached out. She took his hand, pulling it away from his head. Her grip was firm. "She calls you Little Hawk." The moment she said it, the two memories crashed together in his mind. The gray room and the warm fire, the colonel's cold voice and the woman's song. They fought for space, each one screaming that it was the truth. Ethan looked at Kaya, his blue eyes wide with a terror he had never known on any mission. "Which one is real?" he begged, his voice breaking. "Tell me which one is real." He was not asking about blankets. He was asking about his life. Kaya held his hand tighter. She did not have the answer. She saw the war inside him, and her heart broke for the boy who was lost twice, first from his home and then from himself. The sound of Ethan's ragged breathing filled the hut. He stared at Kaya, his hand still in hers, waiting for an answer she could not give. The blanket lay between them, a silent witness to two conflicting truths. Outside, the first faint light of pre-dawn began to soften the black sky. The changing of the guards was a quiet shuffle of feet. The older guard, Thomas, left. A younger man took his place. Malachi had been watching from the shadow of his own hut all night. He had seen Kaya enter hours ago. He had seen no one leave. His patience, worn thin by suspicion, snapped. He crossed the open ground to the hut, his steps silent on the packed earth. The young guard straightened, but Malachi ignored him. He pushed the door open. Inside, Kaya dropped Ethan's hand and scrambled to her feet. Ethan looked up, his face pale and stricken in the dim light. Malachi's eyes took in the scene, the closeness between them, the old blanket, the look of shared fear on their faces. His gaze hardened. "You were told to heal him, not to whisper stories in the dark," he said to Kaya, his voice low and dangerous. "Elder, he is remembering," Kaya began. "Enough," Malachi barked. He turned his focus to Ethan. "You, stand up." Ethan moved slowly, his body stiff. He rose to his feet, facing Malachi. "The Colonel," Malachi said, testing the word Ethan had cried out in his distress. "Who is he?" Ethan's training surfaced, a cold mask sliding over his confusion. "I do not know what you mean." Malachi stepped closer. "You said his name. You shouted it. Is he the man who sent you? The man who gave you your orders?" Ethan said nothing. He held Malachi's stare. Malachi's hand shot out. He did not grab Ethan. Instead, his fingers went directly to the collar of Ethan's shirt. He had seen Thomas check there when Ethan was captured. He had seen Ethan favor that spot when he thought no one was looking. Ethan reacted, but he was too slow and too weak. Malachi's strong fingers found the uneven stitching. He ripped the fabric. The small black plastic radio and the wire earpiece fell to the dirt floor with a soft thud. For a second there was perfect silence. Then Malachi let out a sound of pure, grim triumph. He bent and snatched up the device. He held it high and turned to the doorway, where the young guard was now staring, his eyes wide. "Sound the alert," Malachi commanded, his voice thunderous in the quiet dawn. "Wake everyone, now!" The guard ran, shouting. Within minutes, the entire clan was gathered in the gray light, their faces scared and sleepy. Malachi stood before them, holding the radio high. Kaya stood frozen by the hut door. Ethan stood inside, visible to all, a prisoner once more. "See?" Malachi roared to his people. "You wanted proof? Here is your proof. This is no lost child. This is a spy, a snake sent to find us and kill us all." A wave of fear and anger went through the crowd. Cries of shock and betrayal rose. Sarah, the woman who had wept for Little Hawk, now looked at Ethan with horror. Thomas nodded, his face grim. "He has been talking to his masters," Malachi shouted. "He has told them where we are. They are coming." Panic started to spread. People clutched their children. Men looked toward the weapons stacked near the fire. "Wait!" Kaya's voice cut through the noise. She stepped forward, placing herself between the crowd and Malachi. "Please, listen." "No, Kaya, you have listened enough." Malachi shoved the radio toward her face. "This is what you defended. This is the truth." "Then let him tell it," Kaya shouted back, turning to face Ethan. Her eyes pleaded with him. Tell them everything now or we all die." All eyes turned to Ethan. The hunter and the lost boy warred inside him. He saw the terror in the clan. He saw Malachi's righteous fury. He saw Kaya's desperate hope. The colonel's voice in his head was silent, replaced by the immediate, real fear of the people before him. He took a deep, shaky breath. The mask of Ethan Reed fell away, leaving only exhaustion and truth. "His name is Colonel Briggs," Ethan said, his voice clear and loud enough for all to hear. "He leads a secret part of the government. They want this land. You are in the way. My mission was to find your village and mark it." Malachi looked ready to strike at him. "Mark it how?" "With a beacon, a light." Ethan pointed to the high, flat rock north of the village. "Up there, at dawn, I was to turn it on. It sends a signal. The soldiers, they are waiting for the signal. Then they come." A collective gasp came from the crowd. "When?" Malachi demanded. Ethan looked at the lightening sky. "Now. This dawn. He gave the order last night." Chaos erupted. People cried out, turning to run, to pack, to grab their weapons. "If I do not send the signal," Ethan continued, his voice rising over the panic, "the colonel will know something is wrong. He will send the soldiers to find me, to find you. He will not stop. He has men, trucks, guns. Running will not save you. He will hunt you until you are all gone." The panic turned to a stunned, terrified silence. They were trapped. Every path led to death. Malachi stared at Ethan, the radio clutched in his hand like a stone. "You have killed us." The words hung in the cold air. Asterisk, "You have killed us." The clan stared at Malachi, waiting for their guardian to tell them what to do. Malachi turned his back on Ethan. He faced his people, his shoulders squared. "There is only one path now. We kill this hunter. We leave this valley before the sun is fully up. We take only what we can carry and disappear into the deep canyons. It is the only way to survive." "No!" The word burst from Kaya. She stepped into the center of the circle facing Malachi. "Running will not save us," he told you. "The colonel will hunt us. He knows these mountains are our home. He will send men with dogs and machines. We will be tired, carrying our children and our elders. They will find us. Then we fight them in the canyons," a young warrior named Ben shouted. "With what?" Kaya shot back, turning to him. "With hunting rifles against army guns? They will cut us down. Running is a slower death." Malachi's face was dark with anger. "So we stay and die here? Because of your hope? We stay and fight with our only advantage," Kaya said, her voice fierce. She pointed at Ethan, who stood silent in the hut doorway. "Him!" A bitter laugh escaped Malachi. "You are a fool, child. Listen to me," Kaya pleaded with the clan. "If he is the hunter, he knows how the colonel thinks. He knows their plans, their weapons, their numbers. He can help us prepare. And if he is Little Hawk..." She paused, her voice softening. "If he is Little Hawk, he knows every hidden path in these mountains. The secret places even some of us have forgotten. Places where an army cannot go. He can lead us to safety, not just run blindly." The people looked from Kaya to Ethan, their faces torn. "He is a weapon, Kaya," Malachi said, his voice low and dangerous. "You want to point that weapon at our enemy, but you do not know how to fire it. It will turn in your hand and kill you. And you want to break the weapon before we even try to use it," Kaya countered. "That leaves us with nothing but our fear." Malachi took a step toward her. "I am not acting from fear. I am acting from experience. I saw the raid that took him. I saw the men who killed his parents. I will not let their son finish the job they started." He turned away from her, dismissing her. He looked at Thomas and Ben. "Take him to the East Ridge. Do it now. Make it clean." The two warriors hesitated, looking at the frightened crowd. Kaya moved in front of the hut door, blocking their path to Ethan. "You will have to go through me." "Kaya, move," Malachi ordered, his patience gone. "No." Malachi's hand went to the old knife at his belt. He did not draw it, but his grip on the handle was white-knuckled. "My duty is to protect this clan, even from its own soft heart, even from you. Step aside." The silence that followed was heavy. The clan was split down the middle. Some nodded at Malachi's words, their faces hard with agreement. Others looked at Kaya with desperate hope, unwilling to let go of the ghost she was chasing. Ethan watched it all. He saw the knife in Malachi's hand. He saw Kaya's small, brave frame blocking the door. He saw the faces of the clan, people who were supposed to be his mission, his target, people who were now arguing over whether to kill him or save him, whether he was their destruction or their only chance. The two memories inside him, the gray room and the warm fire, were silent. In their place was only this moment, a choice. He was not just Ethan Reed. He was not just Little Hawk. He was the man standing here now with the power to cause death no matter what he did. If he did nothing, Malachi would win. Ethan would die. Then the colonel would come and the clan would be hunted and killed. If he spoke, he did not know what would happen. The sky was getting lighter. A thin line of gold etched the mountains to the east. Dawn was not an idea anymore. It was here. Ethan took a step forward, out of the hut shadows, into the space between Kaya and Malachi. "Do not," Kaya whispered, thinking he was giving himself up. But Ethan was not looking at her. He was looking at Malachi, at the old man's eyes, full of a pain 12 years deep. He looked at the knife, then past it, to the faces of the people. He had to choose which man to be, and for the first time the choice was his alone. Ethan looked at the knife in Malachi's hand. He looked at Kaya's face, streaked with tears but set with determination. His eyes dropped to the bear-claw necklace still lying in the dirt where Malachi had thrown it. The war inside him was a screaming noise, the colonel's voice cold and sure, the dreams of the woman singing, the gray room, the warm fire. They all pulled at him, demanding he choose a side. He was so tired of fighting. He closed his eyes. He did not choose a side. Instead, he let go. He stopped pushing against the memories. He stopped calling them faulty data. He simply let them come. A wall in his mind, built over 12 years, crumbled all at once. He is a small boy. The air is full of smoke and shouting. The sun is too bright. Men on horses are everywhere. They have guns. His mother is screaming his name. "Little Hawk, run!" But he is frozen. A big man with a rough beard scoops him up. He kicks and screams. He sees Malachi, young and strong, fighting with a knife. He sees his father fall. The man throws him onto a horse. As they ride away, he looks back. He sees his mother on the ground. He sees the necklace around his own neck, the bear claw bouncing against his chest. He hears one last scream, then nothing but the sound of hooves for a long, long time. Ethan's eyes flew open. He gasped, the air rushing into his lungs as if he had been drowning. The present rushed back, the clan, the dawn, Malachi's knife. But everything was different now. The memories were not dreams. They were real. They were his. He looked at Malachi, really looked at him. He saw the young warrior from his memory, now old and lined with grief. He saw the man who had tried to save his father. A deep, quiet calm settled over Ethan. The confusion was gone. The emptiness was filled. He slowly bent down. He picked up the bear claw necklace from the dust. He held it tight in his fist, feeling every familiar carve and groove. Then he spoke. The words came out not in English but in the language of his childhood, the language of his people. His voice was rough from disuse, but the words were clear. "Uncle Malachi." The sound of the old words, spoken by this stranger, sent a shock through the entire crowd. Malachi stiffened as if struck. Ethan continued, his eyes locked on the old man's. "You taught me to track the rabbit by the big red rock, the one that looks like a sleeping bear. You said to watch for the marks in the soft sand near the cactus." Malachi's face went blank with shock. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. The hard, angry lines around his eyes began to tremble. "You gave me my first knife," Ethan whispered, still speaking in their language. "A small one, with a bone handle. You told me I was not ready to hunt men, only to skin rabbits, to be patient." A single tear traced a path through the dust on Malachi's cheek. His hand, which had been gripping the knife so tightly, began to shake. "You told me the story of the mountain lion and the crow," Ethan said, his own eyes filling. The night before the men came." With a clatter that echoed in the silent village, the knife fell from Malachi's hand onto the stones. It was not a drop of surrender. It was the collapse of a wall he had built for 12 years. The old man took one stumbling step forward. His stern guardian's face crumbled into an expression of pure, shattered grief and awe. He looked at the man before him, searching past the short hair and the blue eyes, seeing the little boy he had mourned. "Little Hawk." The name was a broken whisper. Ethan, Little Hawk, nodded. A sob escaped him. "I am sorry I did not remember. I am sorry I was lost." Malachi closed the distance between them in 2 strides. He did not embrace him. He put his 2 hands on either side of the young man's face, holding him, staring into his eyes as if looking for his sister's soul. His thumbs brushed away the tears. "You are found," Malachi said, his voice thick. "You came home." A cry went up from Sarah, a sound of joy and pain mixed together. The clan erupted, not in panic, but in a wave of stunned emotion. People hugged each other. They cried. They looked at Little Hawk, their lost son, returned from the dead, wearing the face of their enemy. Kaya stood to the side, her hands pressed over her mouth, weeping silent tears of relief. Her hope had not been a poison. It had been a rope thrown into the dark, and he had finally taken hold. Malachi turned, one hand still on Little Hawk's shoulder. He looked at his people, his own tears drying into tracks of resolve. "The boy is home," he announced, his voice regaining its strength, but filled with a new tone. "But the wolf is still at the door. Now we listen. We listen to our brother. We listen to Little Hawk." A new energy moved through the clan. Fear was still there, but it was now sharp and focused, not panicked. All eyes were on the young man they had just found. The signal must be sent, Little Hawk said. His voice was different now. It was not Ethan's flat monotone. It held the weight of command learned from the colonel, but also a new urgency. If it is not, the colonel will know his weapon has failed. He will come in force, searching. We cannot outrun his trucks and radios. We must make him think his plan is working. Malachi nodded, listening as a warrior to a new leader. How? Little Hawk looked north, toward the high rock. I will place the beacon. I will turn it on. The soldiers will see it. They will come to this valley. A murmur of fear went through the people. But, Little Hawk continued, turning back to them, we will not be here. We will be here. He pointed to a narrow, jagged crack in the canyon wall west of the village. The canyon of the shifting stone. It is wide at the mouth where they will enter, but halfway it becomes a trap. The walls are high, the path is narrow. Only 2 men can walk side by side. At the end, there is no exit, just a wall of rock. A slow understanding began to dawn on the faces of the warriors. You will lead them into a box canyon? Thomas asked, a spark in his eyes. Yes, Little Hawk said. I will lead them. They will follow me because they will think I am their asset, completing the mission. I will bring them deep into the canyon. Your warriors, he looked at Malachi, Thomas, and the others, will be here and here. He used stones on the ground to mark the high cliffs on either side of the narrow pass. When the soldiers are fully inside, you will block the entrance with the prepared rockfall. Then you will attack from above. Malachi studied the simple map in the dirt. They will have better guns. But we will have the high ground, Little Hawk said, and they will be trapped in a place of our choosing, not theirs. Kaya stepped forward. She held out her hand. In her palm was the bear claw necklace. You will need this, she said softly. Little Hawk took it. His fingers brushed against the carving. He looked at her, really seeing her for the first time as who she was. The little girl from his memories, now a woman who had never stopped hoping. Thank you, Kaya. He tied the cord around his neck, tucking the claw inside his shirt, against his skin. It is time, Malachi said, looking at the pink edge of the sun on the horizon. The light comes. Little Hawk picked up the small black radio beacon from the ground. He met Malachi's eyes. Prepare the clan. Move everyone into the hidden caves at the back of the valley. Take everything of value. Then take your positions in the canyon. Malachi placed a hand on his shoulder. Come back from the canyon, nephew. Little Hawk gave a single sharp nod. Then he turned and began to run, not like a prisoner, but like a man who knew every stone and turn. He sprinted toward the base of the high rock and began to climb. From the village, the clan watched his dark figure move swiftly up the cliff face. They did not wait. Under Malachi's and Thomas's orders, they moved quickly and quietly, gathering children, blankets, and weapons, disappearing into the network of hidden caves they used in times of danger. High on the rock, Little Hawk reached the flat top. The first direct ray of sun broke over the mountain. He placed the beacon on a stone. He pressed the single button on its side. A small red light began to blink. A slow, steady pulse against the pale sky. A signal for destruction. Far away, in a military vehicle at the edge of the desert, a soldier saw the blinking light appear on his tracking screen. Signal confirmed, sir. Asset is go. Colonel Briggs allowed himself a small, cold smile. Move in. Little Hawk watched the light blink for a full minute. He looked down at the empty village. He looked toward the canyon of the shifting stone. He saw tiny figures, his clan's warriors, taking their places along the high rims, camouflaged against the rock. He saw the first dust cloud rise from the eastern desert road. The soldiers were coming. He was not Ethan Reed, he was Little Hawk. The battle for his soul was over. Now the battle for his family began. He took a deep breath and started climbing down to meet them.